What's up, everybody? Nick here from Shot Blast, and this is part 2 of the face mask video. It's going to be some updates, some just better shots to make it easier to follow along, and a whole process is cut out. So the first thing you're going to do, actually, pause the video, scroll down, hit that little like button, and subscribe if you'd be so kind. And then go to the description, and then click down to show more, and right there will be a little link taking you over to the template, which then you will click print, and you'll click print again, and then you'll make sure it's gonna print on regular US letter. All right, god damn it. Okay, let's try that again. You're gonna click print. Oh, whoops. I'm not good with printers, okay? Oh, Jesus. Look at that, it did a fucking burnout on my paper. Is it that? Come on. Oh, okay, now you want to work. Freaking piece of garbage. Well, that doesn't sound good. Nothing came out. Well, it worked. Sorta. Don't know why it's teal. Why is this teal? Here's our template. Go ahead and cut it out. Also, there's a little reference mark here just to make sure for you guys that it's the right size. Go ahead and make sure that that is exactly 1 inch, and you know that the template is the proper size. It might not print to the full edge of the paper, that's fine. Just go ahead and cut as if there's a line there, and just keep the entire width of the piece of paper. Bada bing and bada boom, there's your template. Now, as you'll see on the template, fold lines for nose chin pieces. So, you have one template for 2 different types of pieces. So you have this main piece, the big piece, and then you're gonna go ahead and fold in on those lines where it says to fold. Super crisp, super nice. There you go. Template 1, template 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, you're going to cut 2 pieces out for each template piece. So that means 2 big pieces and 2 small pieces. Woo! All right, I'm gonna go ahead and iron this, because I like my fabric to be flat. Let that heat up. Just hang out, just kick it, you know? How are you? How's your day going? It's green. Just kidding. You guys freaked out about me ironing on my table. Ay caramba. So fine, I got a big thick piece of leather here I'm gonna use as my ironing board, all right? It's fine, it'll be fine. All right, you guys, as you can see, we've got 4 pieces. 2 big ones, 2 small ones. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and iron these, because I like these to be nice and flat. Okay, I had one comment on the last video asking about patterns, and there was a lot of confusion about the Sammy, you know, what that is. Let me explain all that to you right now while we're here, okay? You're gonna take your little pieces And you're gonna need to fold these in half lengthwise, like so that there's a curve on the top. Use the mark that we cut in to center the piece up. And you're gonna go ahead and iron these. You want the pattern, if they have a patterned fabric, to be visible at this time. The pattern needs to be on the outside of the fabric. Line this thing up here a little bit. I'm gonna steam it real good. Piece 1, piece 2. The construction of the sandwich is this. So, big piece, pattern facing up. One of the small pieces, line up the little cuts you made in there and make sure it's centered, and then line up the edge with the edge of the fabric of the base piece. Same thing on the bottom. Take that piece, center it up on that mark, line up the edges, perfect. Now you're gonna take the other big piece. This would be the pattern side. Pattern side is gonna go down. So that way, all of your pattern is now encased on the inside of this piece, because we're going to flip this inside out, and then that's how we have our mask. Now it's time to sew. You're gonna get your sewing machine out, take your pieces, and just sew them together. Make sure that your marks always stay centered. Flip this sucker around, make sure your pieces are still lined up good. Do the other side. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our piece, it's sewn together now, right? You're going to kind of put your thumb on the end like that, like you're putting a hat on your thumb, and you're just gonna work your thumb, work the fabric all the way down until your thumb pokes out the other side. You're gonna grab that, and you're just gonna pull it through. There you go. It's gonna naturally wanna curve a certain direction. Go ahead and let it curve that direction. This one wants to curve inwards, so I'm gonna go ahead and let it curve inwards. Make sure you flatten that seam on the inside. Kind of just feel it, make sure it lays flat. Do the same for both sides. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my ironing pad, and I'm going to iron these edges down. Now that that is ironed down and it's flat, now we're going to sew on the outside edge. And for this, I line it up on the inside. So there's this little space here where the needle can fit. I line the edge of the fabric on the inside of that, so it's kind of a tighter fit. So it's closer to the edge of the fabric. Now that we have the outside edge sewn together, we need to start sewing in the nose piece. Now, I already have a bunch left over, so I'm going to just reuse this. However, I will insert a clip now of how I made that. So the wire is a pretty important part of this. I feel like what makes this especially good for your glasses is if it can seal well around your face under where your glasses are. So what I'm gonna do is I have a bunch of this thin gauge wire. It's just wire for like hanging pictures and stuff. And I don't hang my photos or whatever. So what I found out is that 4 strands of this stuff make for a really durable frame wire for your nose that's not going to, 1, break, 2, hold its position tight enough that it can actually hold it onto your face. And 3, it's cheap and it's easy. Get all these. I like to just try and get them the same length, it's a little easier to do. And then what I do is I take these and I tie a little knot on the end of the wire, like so. I kind of fold the extra over just to have some kind of meat to grab onto. And then I take a drill and I pinch it in a drill. Bet you didn't see that coming. Whoa. Try and get these all equal length. I just take a pair of pliers and hold the end. I don't know, there's probably a better way, but this is what I'm doing. And then you just sick. Look at that. We got a nice Gas wire, baby. So we want 4.5 inches. All right, one update to this plan, however, is the wire. So the wire, 4.5 inches is a good length still, but the ends, instead of curling them in, what I found to be a little more useful is shrink tubing. So actually cut off the smallest of little pieces of the shrink tubing stuff. Get a lighter, go ahead and slip that on the end. Make sure it's not lined up at the end, but it goes a little over it. So you're gonna take your thing and you're gonna shrink it down, kind of pinch the end a little bit, round it off. Careful with your fingers on this one. This is hot glue, so just be careful. All right, and there's that. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little black tip on there. Do the same thing to the other side. Make sure you don't hold it on there too long, otherwise you will completely melt the shrink wrap stuff. So making sure the metal's not exposed on the end. All right, now I'm gonna let that dry. This has proven to be a little better than bending the ends in, especially if you have a lighter fabric such as linen or something like that. Just works better. All right, now what we're gonna do, decide which side you want to be your nose piece. Find the center. This is 8.5 inches long, so 4.25 is the center. This is, I believe, still 4.5 inches long. So I'm gonna make it a little bit longer than that, so there's a little wiggle room in there. So 4.5 would be 2.25, so I'm gonna do one more. So I'll do 2 3/8 of an inch. 2 3/8 of an inch, 2 3/8 of an inch. All right. Now that I have those marked out, I already kind of marked them. Probably didn't see me do it just now, but I already did. Don't sew at the edge, sew in. About a 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little less than 1/4 of an inch. I'm using, again, the inside of that thing, so probably more like just over 1/8 of an inch. But basically, line up your mark, start stitching. Make sure you sew down far enough that those ends can get in there. Now we're at the end, pop that open, take your wire, and we're gonna put it inside of this sleeve here, right? We're gonna make sure it's going actually in the slot. Might be kind of hard to get started, but you want this to be a nice snug fit. Just keep working the wire. All right, there's the end. Pull that all the way tight. All right, now you can see the wire is in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim that excess off and do a little bit of a restitch just to kind of go over my line again. There you go. Now your wire is sewn into your nose piece. Now what we need to do, the only thing left to do, is sew our ears in place. And for that, I have 2 pieces of the bottom of a pair of leggings. That's what I'm gonna use. But what we wanna do, fold this edge in just a little bit, about 1/4 of an inch. Take your iron, go ahead and iron that so that's laying down nice and flat. Take your legging piece, or if you wanna use something legit, you can do that as well. Go ahead and fold that over. Looks like I'm gonna have to fold this legging piece in half, so okay. And now I can stitch that in place. For the elastic stuff, I suggest getting actual elastic, but I have this on hand, so I might as well use it. Same thing for the other end. Come to the conclusion that I don't really want a very wide strip for the ear support, so I'm gonna go ahead and make this one thinner. I went ahead and trimmed the legging pieces, so that way they'd be a little more comfortable around the ears, and they are great. I hope that this video is a little more clear for everybody. Hopefully you could see all the steps a little better, and I didn't use black fabric this time, so hopefully that helped. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I love making these videos. I love helping you guys out. I'd love to keep doing that. So one way for you to help me do that is to subscribe, and I'd really appreciate it. But with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.